And here we go. Good day, everybody. I am Connor with Honor. We do have your Sunday broadcast here. Today's the 30th of June, 2024. Real numbers in Santa Clarita. Total listings, 450. That's up from 438 and 440s. We've been seeing 420s, 410s. And we track back just a couple months. We were in the high threes, then lower threes, then about mid threes. Low point of the market's been around upper 280s, 300s. So these inventory numbers are actually more than we've been seeing lately. We do have more inventory being added to the market daily. I do post all of that up at SantaClaritaopenhouses.com, so you can go there and see each and every new listing the moment they become available. And of course, the system was built for the simple purpose of having a local resource so people don't get tied up. They can search with all the anonymity they want, and then they can make a decision who they want to use. Maybe I'm not a fit, but maybe somebody else is. But at the end of the day, I want to give that free resource so people can search and actually see the real listings without any modifications, changes, restrictions. It's everything open. Newest listings first, and you'll see them all there. SantaClaritaopenhouses.com. Last 7 days of market activity in Santa Clarita valleys give us 8 coming soon, 83 new listings. 58 properties have had their prices changed back on market, 25. Active under contract properties, 30. 45 pending, 57 closed, 5 expired, 7 canceled, 8 put on hold, 2 withdrawn, and we have again 450 total. So I am seeing a higher than usual inventory. Current active listings are at 450, and that does indicate higher inventory and levels compared with those previous periods as I talked about. The increase in inventory can provide folks, though, with a few more options. Again, and that also gives you a little bit more negotiating power, but it's going to depend on how active that property is. If it's something others have been looking for, well, you can expect competition. If it's something that others aren't, you might be alone and you might be able to take advantage of that. But it's going to depend on the seller's bottom line, your upper line, and how you guys can meet through that negotiation process. Now, as far as what's happening, market activity overview, the listings, that 83 that we saw posted, I've seen that break 100 in the last few days. But we're watching as we have more inventories coming on, more properties coming onto the market. And those 25 properties that actually had their escrows canceled, whew, that's a shame. But these properties are back on the market. If your agent's not monitoring that channel, that could be an issue. So make sure they're looking at that. Now, the price changes we also talked about. Once a property's been on the market, somewhere about 30 days, usually the banks that had the REO listings back in the day, we were with Citigroup, so that helped out a lot. But as far as those REO listings and learning the way that whole environment worked, typically at the 30-day point with a listing, if there has been no movement, no offers, no escrows, and it's only been seen but nothing has been written, typically a seller about the 30-day point is going to say, hey, listen, Jack, let's go ahead and reduce this price a little bit. In addition to that, it shouldn't just be an arbitrary price reduction unless that's the strategy. Whenever a price reduction is enacted, it should include the real estate listings that are going to give that new set price validity. Because it could come in that the appraiser is going to want to see comparables with regard to any list price. But if you're doing any kind of a price adjustment, if you're not one of those agents that loves to take overpriced listings just to frustrate people, but if you're actually doing it the way you're supposed to, when that appraiser goes in there and looks at the numbers and they have questions, you'll be able to easily back it up. It's horrible to get called by an appraiser at 6 p.m. when we're supposed to have funding relatively soon. They're looking for information. The agent is unable to provide it because they didn't do that research in the first place. Maybe they Zillowed it, or maybe they looked on one of these real estate syndication websites. But in order to give a good value for a seller, you got to look at the data. And that data is, the real data lives within the multiple listing service. That's how I hooked up SantaClaritaopenhouses.com to that system. So that's where I'm able to search. And then I can provide my seller with feedback regarding the price, and then let them make a decision. All right, so pending under contract properties and also other properties that have gone in. So these properties are in escrow, that's 45, and then we have 30 that have gone a little bit deeper. Now, strategic consideration for sellers. This is something that comes up from time to time. A lot of sellers are wondering, should we stage the house? Is it a good idea to get all these things repaired? Usually we start with repairs whenever I'm interviewing sellers and we're walking around the residence. If there are parts of the property that have been neglected over time, maybe you've been a resident in that house for over 30 years, things have a tendency to break down unless you're one of those folks that's on everything right at the moment. If you are, good for you. Blood transfusion, please, so I can figure out how to do that. But if you're somebody that doesn't get things done when they're supposed to get done, then we need to have a conversation when it comes to listing your house. It could be that there is no competition, so the things that are required for you to do are going to be incredibly minimal. But the house should be in some semblance of shape that allows somebody else to move in. It's not going to encounter some unknown problem or a problem that you've neglected for years come to the surface. Acts of God things happen all the time, I get that. But it is important for you as a real estate seller to have that walkthrough with your professional agent so they can tell you what they would fix. And again, you're hiring me to represent you as a seller. That's the way this commission structure is going to work. So the concessions, anything that you offer, that's going to be gravy over and above what I charge you to sell your house. Now, if I represent the buyer on the real estate transaction, we'll have that conversation, what that number looks like. And if we're going to offer a commission to those other buyers agents out there with their buyers to be able to put that property out to them as well and have them bring buyers into it, stating that we're going to pay them something or you will as the seller, then that conversation needs to take place as well. But pretty soon you're going to see the multiple listing service blowing up where there's not going to be any connection point between commissions paid or commissions offered, because there will not be any that are going to be on that forward-facing website. So it's not going to be an agent thing, at least on that end. What's going to be required is the real estate agent will just basically contact the seller's agent and they'll say, hey, Connor, is your seller offering commission? I'll say no. And they'll say, well, if I have a buyer, do you think they'll consider it? And I say, well, write me an offer, put in there what you're expecting, and I'll take it to my seller. Like everything, it's going to be negotiable. I'm Connor with Honor. Thank you for watching this Sunday's update. We will be back, of course, tomorrow, Monday. If you need us, we're here during the weekend, SantaClaritaopenhouses.com. I know that July 4th is coming up, so that's going to be fantastically exciting. If there's anything that we can do to help you facilitate your home purchase or home sale, let me know. It doesn't take very long to go from zero to on the market, but what's critical in that movement for you sellers out there, that listing has to be staged. And I understand that time could be of the essence, but there's really no excuse for populating a listing online without those photographs unless you're doing some kind of a coming soon presentation and you're doing that for strategic purposes. But that's something you need to have a conversation with your agent. I'm Connor with Honor. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow during the show. We're SantaClaritaopenhouses.com. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. I am Connor with Honor. Over and out.